Greetings cinephiles! Welcome to the FILMSTRIP channel on which I discover for you the list of 152 masterpieces of cinema according to the critics firm Mediafilm. To explore Mediafilm, simply click on the links I've put in the description. For more videos like this one, go check out the channel. Also, please subscribe and follow the Facebook page to stay up to date. Today we are going back to Germany, directed in 1922 by Friedrich Wilhelm Murnau. Here is Nosferatu. Here is our protagonist, Thomas Hutter. He is sent by his boss in Transylvania to meet with a new client, the Count Orlok. While he is away, his wife Ellen will be living with some friends. Close to his destination, the villagers advise him against meeting with Orlok. Still, Hutter takes a carriage to the castle. During dinner, he cuts his finger. Orlok is immediately drawn to his blood, but Hutter pushes him off. He wakes up the next morning with 2 small holes in his neck, but doesn't seem to care that much. Orlok signs documents to buy a new house close to Hutter's home. He sees a picture of Ellen and immediately notices her neck. Hutter begins to think Orlok might be Nosferatu, the bird of death. At night, Orlok reveals his true self when entering Hutter's room, who becomes unconscious. Ellen, as in a trance, seems affected by the event. The day after, Hutter, while exploring the castle, discovers Orlok's coffin. Nosferatu prepares his departure. Then Hutter jumps out the window and again loses consciousness. He wakes up in the hospital. While he tries to come back to Germany, on the boat someone opens one of the coffins. Loads of rats come out and the crew quickly becomes sick. Soon only 2 survivors remain, one of which decides to destroy the coffins. But of course Orlok doesn't let him. Finally at the village, he moves into his new home. The next day, thinking the whole crew died of the plague, the villagers fear a potential outbreak. Several deaths occur. Everyone is frightened by the sickness. Meanwhile, Orlok observes Ellen when she is asleep. Because of her pure heart, Ellen believes she can distract the vampire. She opens her window, but passes out. Hutter, now back home, wakes her up, then leaves to get help. Meanwhile, Orlok comes up to the room. He is so taken up by her blood that he doesn't realize the sun is coming up. The light of dawn makes him disappear in a cloud of smoke. Ellen, her blood drained out, dies in Hutter's arms. Nosferatu is no more. His empty castle reminds us of his reign. In short, the production context of Nosferatu is the logical sequence to Caligari's. Following a career start in parallel with ones such as Robert Wiene and Fritz Lang, among others, Murnau directs another iconic piece from the Expressionist movement in Germany. Films like Caligari, thanks to their peculiar aesthetics, contributed in labeling the genre and associated, sometimes maybe wrongly, to Weimar cinema. The fact that Expressionism therefore rhymed with German cinema probably helped popularize the movement. Expressionist films were not the only kind produced at the time, but they were certainly the most influential. The quality and fame of Caligari and Madame du Barry, directed by Ernst Lubitsch, and the idea of stylized cinema helped lifting boycotts on German films in many countries. In 1922, the movement was already quite known around the world. Nosferatu had therefore no difficulty establishing its name. At that point, the majority of the Weimar cinema was inspired by folk tales and German literature, accentuating the idea of a cultural nationalism. But screenwriter Henrik Galeen found a particularly interesting story in the English novel Dracula. But his creativity is cut short by the copyrights to the book that the company could not acquire. He then decides to simply change the title, as well as some plot elements. Justice leaning towards the family of author Bram Stoker, the court orders the destruction of the copies of the film. Lucky for us, several of them managed to be preserved. Nosferatu was lucky enough to be released before the end of its movement's golden age. The depreciation of the Dutch mark was favorable to exportations. With its good reputation, German cinema secured exportations in a great market, providing extraordinary revenues from their international screenings, which in turn automatically benefited the rest of the productions. Written by Henrik Gallen, writer and co-director of The Golem, another fantasy tale in which we can notice similarities, Nosferatu is one of the icons of horror cinema. Its emphasis on the themes of fear, inhumanity, troubled personality are typical of Expressionism. The aesthetics are just as much. Contrary to the other productions of the movement, Nosferatu was shot outside the studios, and with almost no excess of set design or exaggerated makeup, except perhaps Nosferatu himself. The fact that the world appears to be fairly realist contributes to increase the horror when the monster is finally introduced. To compare with the cabinet of Dr. Caligari, it is the vampire that threatens the stability of the world, not a subjective and troubled vision that has an effect on pretty much only one character. Here, the vampire is a menace to everyone. The editing is particular. Shots of nature are often inserted, suggesting some sort of omnipresent and strange force, or bringing symbolism supporting the plot. In my opinion, the makeup and sets of Nosferatu being more realist than in Caligari help nourish the fright. Also, the vampire is a passive predator. The menace is patient, always waiting, contributing to the harrowing atmosphere. Visually, the film is an impressive success, taking advantage of precise framings and lightings, perfectly supporting the subject. The Prana production company wanted to concentrate on horror or supernatural films. Sadly, the Bram Stoker estate sued the company and Prana had to declare bankruptcy to avoid a battle in court. Nosferatu is their only production, but what it brought to the heart of filmmaking is considerable, starting with its great influence on horror movies. We easily see its importance in popular culture, first off with direct examples such as the remake by Werner Herzog, or even Shadow of the Vampire, kind of an over-fictionalized making of, in which actor Max Schreck truly is a vampire. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you liked it. Do not hesitate to leave your comments in the section below. Click on the like button if you did like it, and subscribe to the channel to be up to date with all the videos. Or you can simply follow the Facebook page, the link is in the description. I will be back for the 8th film on the list of masterpieces of cinema according to Mediafilm. Go check out the said list. Like, subscribe and share. I'm René for FILMSTRIP. For our next movie, we will be back to the US. Directed in 1924 by Erich von Stroheim, we shall discover greed.